when a case is ready for interview. I know y'all are excited. You might be wondering, well, I haven't had an attorney up until this point, so everything's been fine. So I should be fine at the interview, right? Yeah, maybe. Sometimes, maybe. But I think you really need to reflect on what you filed to USCIS. Of course, I'm not here to say that you need a lawyer, absolutely, but it really just depends on your case, on yourself, your facts. I can't say for you unless you call us and we have a one-on-one conversation, or one on two, I guess, with your spouse, assuming it's a marriage kind of case. Time and time again, a lot of people give us a call and they're very concerned about what happened at the interview. All right, so that's why I go live to share these things. I don't just go through the basics. Okay, so when your case is ready for an interview and you don't have a lawyer, it's okay. I would say it's only okay, though, if you have provided substantial evidence, quality evidence. And when I say quality, I don't mean like you gave them 50 photos and that's all you gave them, right? You need, and if you don't know, like here's the deal: if you don't know what is quality evidence, then that's really the first problem, okay? And then if you don't know, then that's a clue to trigger in your mind that you might need to talk with a lawyer one-on-one. Now, look, I've had interviews in person, even in 2023, when majority of cases, the interview is waived for marriage cases. But having interview is not a bad thing. I wanted to talk about this because there have been situations when people have called in. I think we got it more recently last week, and someone received a denial letter, and the government, bless their hearts, some officers just don't provide enough information that I would prefer as an advocate for immigrants. Okay. Unfortunately, in comparison, if I had to compare prior to like other people who have shared the denial letter or notice of intent to deny, what they're trying to do in those documents is say, okay, you had inconsistent statements between you and your spouse. And when they say that, typically that's because they separated you to two different rooms. But the letter I saw that I'm referring to, it wasn't really inconsistent. They don't match, but that doesn't mean inconsistent. Okay, so that's how you have an advocate to look at that. But look, that's the thing. If you're considering to hire a lawyer after the fact, that's understandable, but do that ASAP, because when you get a denial, you have 30 days to file a motion to reconsider. I mean, most y'all consider, like, you think of appeal, but it's considered motion to reconsider or reopen. In some scenarios, I would say just refile, but in others, I would definitely consider sending in that 290B application at least in the meantime. But yeah, back to assuming if did not have the interview yet, you really need to study, okay? So because some people are like, yeah, it hasn't been a problem yet, so I should be fine at the interview, but that's not a really good indication of how your interview is going to go. So please don't get confused that just because you didn't get an RFE yet does not mean that you would have a difficult time at the interview. Usually USCIS does try to do a pretty good job in terms of mailing you an RFE, or putting an online account, so you can provide them additional evidence. But sometimes it just goes straight to the interview. And what I mean straight, I mean it still could take a year. Also, a tip: if you had a site visit where a USCIS officer went to your home where you live, apartment, house, doesn't matter where you live, but they went to your home, that is a indication that when you have the interview notice, you're going to be separated. Okay. I don't know how people think that, like, oh, you had a site visit and it's still going to be okay. I'm not trying to judge here, but like, you need to take action for yourself. You've already paid the 485 fees, the I-130 fees. That's a pretty good chunk, right? So if you're trying to save money because you didn't hire a lawyer because you're trying to save money, I get it. But when you get to the point that you have a USCIS officer visit your home, like that day, you should call a lawyer. I'm not saying that you're going to get like a denial letter the next day or something. And in fact, sometimes, strangely, I think that USCIS takes a long time after that to schedule an interview. All right, so just yeah, that pretty much wraps it up in terms of tips on this to help y'all understand when to take action. Okay, when to at least speak with an attorney, because you really just don't want to wait till last second. All right, it's not a good idea because most lawyers are going to tell you no, sorry, because you waited too long, right? Attorneys need time. We don't have this like magical wand that we can fix things in like a week. Yeah, I mean, it could be done, but when there's less time available to prepare a case, think about it any other business for a service, it's going to cost more. So if you're all about trying to save some money, which everyone is, right? Then you really should call a lawyer ASAP. Okay. As soon as you get a site visit or as soon as you get an interview scheduled, right? I think you all know I share a lot more than many other attorneys, but an attorney's not going to walk you through an interview. I'm going to record a video to walk y'all through an interview, how it goes. Unfortunately, not real time. That'd be pretty cool, right? If I had my phone open. They don't like it. The officers don't like it when there's any kind of phone device visible. So they want to make sure you're not recording anything.